Hi, my name is Raquel Wiley, and I'll be doing my project on why I think Veronica Roth is a literary leader. Um, my thesis is that I think she's a literary leader because she teaches the reader through made-up societies about problems in society and love and teen hardship um, through fictional situations that can be used as metaphors for real life situations. Um, she's a really new writer. She's only 24. She was born August 19th, 1988, same month as me. So there wasn't really a lot that I could find on the internet about her background and like her inspirations and her family. I couldn't find anything about her parents. But I did find out that she has a brother, and his name is Frank, and he just got married on like some mountains in Ireland or something. And she is married. For 2 years, she's been married to a man named Nelson Fitch. They don't have any children. Some fun facts about her is that she's afraid of bugs and like flocks of birds, and she's afraid of heights and speed and like shaky structures. She is also afraid to buy meat like from a deli over the counter, which I thought was pretty funny. She started writing at the age of 12 when she, and I quote, said that she was too old to play pretend. So she started to like write stories. But she used to hide them. She didn't want anybody to critique or criticize her work, so she didn't let anybody know that she wrote. She graduated Bachelor of Arts, right, with a degree in writing. And college is when she finally let people read her books because she had a writing class and she didn't have a choice. Okay. Tris is like Veronica in so many ways. She feels awkward and she doesn't trust her ability to navigate like social situations. She's too hard on herself and she's too hard on others. She takes herself a little too serious and she declares without embellishment, meaning that she's not classically a good storyteller. She's different from her too. Like Veronica and Tris are different because Tris has a lot to be terrified of living in a made-up world, unlike Veronica, but she doesn't allow that to stop her. And I think that that quote means that Veronica uses her characters to like she uses Tris as herself in a way. New York Times bestsellers list, and they got there in a short amount of time. So that being said, she's really inspiring, and she likes to inspire new readers, and she likes to give them advice. Even though she's new herself, she likes to talk to people about the things that she has went through in this short amount of time. And she says that if you're discouraged, to keep going if this is really what you want. And one of Veronica goes by is by a man named Samuel Beckett. I think I pronounced that right. Okay. Ever try, ever fall, no matter. Try again, fall harder, fall better. And I thought that was a really great quote to live by. I think it means that if you fall during a situation or a choice that you're making, to just keep going, do it again, because the more you try, the better you'll get. And if you just gave up on yourself, then you wouldn't be proud of it and the decisions that you make. And I think that's what Veronica wants her readers to I guess you could say establish within themselves, to never give up. And like new readers, she says that she wants them to like keep trying. If they get criticized and get all these critiques that they don't like, to take them as I guess you could like ways to make them better, like she did after all the criticism that she got when she first started. Now I will talk about first book in this series, which is Divergent. It's a thriller, and it's a young adult book. There's a set of people who blame the war on aggression, and they believe in peace solely can fix all problems, and they are called the Amity faction. And then there is a faction that blames it on selfishness, and they believe that people should always be selfless, and they are abnegation, which is what the main character Beatrice was born into, the abnegation faction. And then there's the faction that blames it on duplicity, and they believe that people should always be truthful, and they are called Candor faction. Then there is the people that blame the war on cowardness, and they believe that you should always be brave if it's something that you believe in, and they are called Dauntless. And then the last faction is Erudite, and they blame the war on ignorance, and they think that knowledge is the way of life and the key to it. It's a ceremony that all the 16-year-olds go through. Where all the 16-year-olds go through, they have to choose what faction. After 16 years of learning in school about each of the different factions, they have to choose which faction they want to belong to. And what happens is they go through this thing called a simulation where they're injected, and when Beatrice goes through her simulation, she picks a number of different ways to deal with this situation, which is not usual. And she ends up finding out that she is divergent, which is this big top secret thing. Okay. Beatrice decides to switch factions, and to the Dauntless headquarters. She is tested, and they are taught how to fight, how to use weapons. They fight against one another to see who's up on the ranking, because this book talks about like getting out of your comfort zone, which I think is relatable for a lot of people, because when you go to like high school and different schools, you have to adjust to the way that they do things, and it can be completely different from the way that you do things because you did things. And that happens with Triss, because here when she got to abnegation, the people from abnegation aren't really liked well. So when she got to the initiation part of becoming Dauntless, there were a few people who didn't like her, and she was doing so well because she was divergent, even though they didn't her because anyone. Eventually, when the simulations in the Dauntless headquarters, they give you simulations to test each of your fears, and you have to learn how to manipulate yourself out of them. And because she was divergent, it wasn't a problem for her to get herself out of the situations that were happening. So people didn't like this, and a group of guys basically kidnapped her one day. They were molesting her basically while she was blindfolded, and the person who was over their initiation process, his name is Four, he heard them and basically saved her life. And I think that that's where Beatrice and Four's love really came why into. Love was one of my topics, and because they had a really strong bond. Like, nobody knew about them being in love, and I think that's what made it more exciting for them two, because it was also Beatrice's first time being able to show a male affection. And another one of the last topic for that book was oh my goodness. Oh, it was Lost, because in the end of the book, after this whole simulation thing goes down between the factions and the Dauntless's minds get taken over and they start to kill people, Beatrice's mom and dad end up like dying for her basically, and the way she copes with things was one of the main parts, because they were dead, and it was like she didn't really want to cope with that. And that runs into the second book, which is Insurgent, and it follows along with how Beatrice... Okay, talking about Insurgent, it is basically like the themes are basically the same. Like, one of my topics was peer pressure, and then another one was like knowing the difference between being selfless and selfish, and another one was love. And also I talked about loss a lot, because Trish not only lost her parents, she lost her brother when she found out that he was a traitor. And then love, because her and Forrest's love for each other really kept them going in this book. And then I talked about selflessness versus selfishness, because Trish made a lot of decisions that hurt her, because she didn't know the difference between helping others and helping herself without hurting herself. Veronica Roth is a literary leader because she uses like teen hardship and love and society, and she uses fake situations to relate to things that can happen in teens' lives today. In conclusion, I think that she is a really nice writer, and she relates to teens so well with the problems. Even though they are extreme when she talks about them, they are the same in the way that we get through